AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR. Presented by LouisianaSports.net. I'm Matt.
You're a loser,
Shut up, kid! Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Matthew Octavius Musso. Nailed it.
You did not. You
did
not. You did not nail it. I'm saying it now. Not even close.
Matthew Oprah Musso.
No. What? Why would it be
She's
Oprah?
an icon.
Yeah, but why would I be named after her?
Why do you hate women?
I don't.
Clearly.
No. Women are the best.
Everyone, put it on Twitter. Musso hates women.
You can't put anything on the internet that's not true, they say. But that would not be true.
And Mr. Toby Thompson. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. So, Musso there says you can't put anything on the internet that's not true.
That is what I said.
Oh, really?
That's what I said.
Then why does the internet say that Chris Olave is the 64th best player in the NFL?
It must be true.
That is absurd.
Coming off a great year. He's about to get paid.
Absurd beyond measure. NFL's rolling through their top 100. Chris Olave, number 64. 64. Was this the top 100 receivers, Muse?
No, players.
Any position.
Yep.
And they think
all 22 of them.
They think that there's only 63 players in the entire NFL better than Chris Olave.
That's what they said, yeah.
Wow.
That's what that means.
Amazing. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is the same list that had Lamar Jackson at 69. He fell 67 spots from last year. So in 1 year, Lamar Jackson went from MVP, the second best player in the NFL, to number 69, and he's not as good as Chris Olave. Hey, Muse, I got a question for you.
All right, what you got?
If I gave you Lamar Jackson or Chris Olave, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Lamar Jackson. I'm going to take the quarterback. Yeah, Lamar Jackson.
No! Clearly, Chris Olave is better. It's on the internet.
Well, I'm going to have to look. I mean, just because you can't put anything on there that's not true, doesn't mean I can't disagree with what you put on there.
Well, then you're disagreeing with a fact.
You can do that.
2 + 2 is 4. Do you disagree?
No, I agree with that.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And if it's on the internet and it's true, then it means it's a fact.
Man, that's a tough break for Lamar Jackson.
This is why.
2-time MVP.
This is why I hate lists. Dude, the number of people my Twitter mentions today about Chris Olave being number 64 on this list is comical. I say this again about Chris Olave. Oh, by the way, remember we talked about it a day ago. You had NFL coaches and executives, and they ranked Chris Olave, coaches and executives on the ESPN list. as the 26th best receiver in the NFL. Just going to put that out there, okay? The people who actually have to make decisions about, like, signing guys and paying guys and drafting, blah, 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 blah. Okay, they had Olave, the 26th best receiver. But the players, dude, this is the players that vote on the top 100, right?
Yes, this is the players, yes.
And they got Olave. They got Olave at number 64. I wonder if we went up to all these players and asked them individually, hey, if you could have Lamar Jackson or Chris Olave, who you got? My guess is, methinks they're probably going to go with Ocho. Guessing.
No, that's a safe bet. Yeah.
I don't hate Chris Olave. This is the big misconception that people have. And I try to clarify it. Like, I think Chris Olave has been a good teammate. He shows up. I think he plays really hard. Has been like a good teammate, all that stuff. It's just that when you're a top 15 pick in the draft, you're going to have enormous expectations. Justifiably so. If Chris Olave were an undrafted free agent and delivered a 1,000-yard season, awesome. But he was a first-round pick and part of a trade before that draft with Philadelphia. It's, of course, when they took both Olave and Penning. And so, naturally, you're going to have increased expectations. And Chris Olave has had the concussion issue, to which I'm very sensitive. Like, that's obviously a very serious thing, man. But he's played 4 NFL seasons. In 4 years, he's never played a full 17 games. In year 2, he played 16. Last year, he played in 16. 15 as a rookie, 8 in 2024, when obviously he had the really scary concussion against Carolina and missed the remainder of the season. And he has had 3 1,000-yard receiving seasons, 3 of his 4 years. So he's been a productive player. Like, I'm not telling you, like, I'm not saying, like, throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not saying Olave's not a good player. What I'm telling you is my opinion of Olave is more like what the NFL coaches and executives anonymously said. You're going to go through all of the dynamic number 1 receivers before you get to Olave, and that's going to put him somewhere in the 20s if you're ranking receivers in the NFL. I want Chris Olave on my team. He's a good receiver. He's a very good player. I do not think he is anywhere near the caliber of the top 10 receivers in the NFL, which is what he wants to be paid like. He is undersized. He has had issues making the dynamic play. People always bring up to me the fact that his drops number is low. Well, I don't care how you chart what is a drop and what isn't a drop. We routinely see Chris Olave not make the spectacular play when he has the opportunity. That's what you expect from a true number 1. That's my point about Olave. I think Chris Olave could be the best number 2 in the NFL, and which is why I suspect the Saints drafted Jordan Tyson with a top 10 pick after taking Olave 11 overall, because they know Olave is not the game breaker. He's not the guy that's going to go take over a game like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or Puka Nacua or JSN can. That's what you're hoping to get. And so you're not going to pay Olave like those guys because he's not those guys. He is a very, very good NFL receiver. He's just not a top 10 receiver in the NFL. That's my point about Olave. It's my point about Olave. They're not going to like this one, Muse. It's a lot like Derek Carr. Look at his face.
Ooh.
It's a lot like Derek Carr. Hold on.
Ooh. All right.
What did I say about Derek Carr for as long as he was the quarterback at the Saints? I said he was a lower middle tier, upper bottom tier starter. Bro, there's not that many humans walking the face of planet Earth that are starting quarterbacks in the NFL. But the Saints were looking for someone that was going to get them back into contention. I said, Derek Carr will never win a champion. He is not an elite level starting quarterback. He is a starter in the NFL. He is not an elite level starter in the NFL. That's the same thing with Olave. Olave is a starting receiver. He's a bottom tier 1, top tier 2. But he is not and never will be in the same class as the guys that I just mentioned that are considered the top 5 or 10 in the NFL. Of course I want Chris Olave on the team. I just don't want to pay Chris Olave like a top 10 receiver in the NFL. I want to pay him like a top 25 receiver in the NFL. Somewhere in that 17 to 20 million a year range, perfect. You start getting north of 30, I got a problem. And anyone that looks at that top 100 list and uses that as evidence of Olave's worth and value, yeah, they got Lamar Jackson, number 69 in the NFL. Kick rocks. It's after further review. Hey, look.
Hey, Aaron Nola's on the TV.
Hi!
There we go. Look at him.
Yes!
Finally got one. Is that the first, like,
Been a minute.
I think it's the first real one since you've
They're
been back.
all real.
They're not, though.
If I want it to be real, it's real. Just like all the internet people want Chris Olave to be the 64th best player in the NFL.
Look, man, the players, they got to play against him. They voted him that. I mean,
Whatever. Stupid. Chris Olave, the 64th best. Everybody's going to be like, oh, man, let's go and say Chris Olave sucks. I never say Chris Olave sucks. Can we clip this? I didn't say he sucks.
yeah, we clip it.
My point of contention is he is not a top 10 receiver in the NFL. And all those coaches and executives agree with me, by the way. And by the way, I think the Saints do too, which is why they drafted Jordan Tyson. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Rouse's. I went to Rouse's yesterday. Right after the show, popped over to the Rouse's right by Long Farm in Baton Rouge. Oh, we have Drew's birthday extravaganza this weekend. Drew's turning 12. Erica treats Drew's birthday like it's a federal holiday. I mean, whew. Anyway, so I had to go buy all the beverages yesterday. So I went to Rouse's, loaded up the cart. Plenty of beers, Bud Light Ultra, neutrals as well, keeping in the Mockler family. I'm going to check out, and some lady in front of me is like, I want to be invited to your party. I'm like, it's a 12-year-old's birthday. She's like, even better.
I was going to say, I don't think that's going to dissuade her.
Parents are going to have a good time when they come to Drew's party. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, they got everything you need over at Rouse's. Rouse's.com. I got Erica sushi for dinner last night. She likes the crab stick. Not like, you know how they got crab, but it's like the mushy crab stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, kind of. Not when it comes to sushi, but, I mean, yeah.
The sushi roll.
I don't like
a
sushi, so.
What are you, 12?
No, I just don't
Got
enjoy
the
it.
palate of a 6-year-old. What are you talking about? It's fish and rice.
Yeah.
Love those dino nugs, though, I'm sure.
I mean, dino nugs are fantastic.
There
yeah.
he is. Thank you for
They are great.
Thank you for proving my point. Anyway, they got both those at Rouse. Muse, Jesus, doesn't like sushi, but he likes dino nugs. Pizza, waffles, hot dogs. That's Muse's diet.
I mean, all those things are very good. Yeah,
the only thing I
those.
see Muse eat every day are these, like, what are those little crackers you eat every day?
No, there's little protein bars.
Yeah,
protein bars.
Yeah, that's not a protein bar. It's absurd to call that a protein bar. They're like Nature's Valley crap that you eat in a wrapper.
Tasty.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's tasty. It's a bunch of ingredients that you can't read what they are.
Meh.
It's fake. It's not real food. It's processed garbage. Throw it away. Eat real food, like sushi from Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. See how I brought that around? Professional radio.
It was good.
Can I get a ding, please? Professional radio guy. Thank you. All right, what do we have to do now? Okay. When we come back, we'll talk about why Chris Olave stinks as a receiver in the NFL.
No, we just did that.
Just kidding. It's a joke, Muse. When we come back, we're going to talk about Thomas R. White, attorney at law.
Tom. Oh man,
Spilled my water.
that is like we established that during the break. That's not Tommy White anymore. That is Thomas White.
Paul, can you put the picture of Thomas up, please?
With the haircut, the trimmed beard.
There he is.
Yeah.
Thomas R. White, CPA.
CPA. Financial planner.
What happened to Show Tommy? This feels like Major League when Rick Vaughn in Major League 2 comes out and he's cut the hair and he took out the earring and now he's got the see you later and the intimidator and the
his new assortment of breaking pitches.
All right, it's after further review.
After further review.
Brought to you by Watermark and Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. Remember, over at Renaissance Baton Rouge, they would love to host your event. What an awesome place. I mean, it really is one of, if not the preeminent venue in Baton Rouge to host an event. If you're hosting a fundraiser or a gala or an awards banquet, I know a lot of fraternities, sororities will host like socials, mixers, dances there as well. The ballroom can host up to 500 people. They cater in-house. They got bars that they can bring in, portable bars they can set up all throughout. And it doesn't matter if you need the ballroom for 500. I mean, they have boardrooms for 12 people where they can cater your meals in the boardroom, all the technology hookups, and everything in between for any size. Tons of guest room, all the amenities, pool, Tallulah right there inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge. Check them out on Bluebonnet. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
So we are going to be keeping a close eye on what's going on in Congress. The Protect College Sports Act is something you probably heard a lot about, even if you have not taken time to read the entire bill, which candidly, I have not. I have not sat down. I am not a constitutional expert, as you well know, just stating it for the record. I have not read the entire bill. I have followed this story very closely because if I'm just giving you the very, 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 very abbreviated Cliff Notes, it's to say many people in and around college athletics have asked for congressional intervention. The NCAA has rules. Schools don't seem to want to follow those rules. When a judgment goes against a player or school, they go to a state court, which gets an injunction and overrules the NCAA. So coaches and players and administrators and everybody's looking at Congress going saying, hey, please help pass some type of legislation to put guardrails up that everyone can abide by. So that's the Cliff's Notes version. And to date, it has been very hard to get bipartisan support for congressional legislation. One of the reasons why politics sucks and I hate it, but that's neither here nor there. And I don't care if you're red, blue, RD, left, right. I don't care. They both suck. On both sides, you both suck. The Protect College Sports Act, though, is the first bipartisan piece of legislation that's getting actual headway. But there's a very clear line being drawn, and we're not exactly sure why. Now, we know the Big Ten and the SEC have formally opposed the Protect College Sports Act, while the Big 12 and the ACC are supporting it. And it's very clear, like the line is between the haves and the have-nots. What we don't know, though, yet is specifically why the SEC and the Big Ten are opposing it. Now, LSU leadership, Dr. Wade Roos, and chairman of the board, Lee Mallett, have written a letter formally opposing the Protect College Sports Act in its current form. One brief excerpt from the letter. For nearly a century, LSU has been at the forefront of college athletics, and we recognize that the important issues facing us today necessitate substantive reform. While we appreciate the efforts surrounding the Protect College Sports Act, we believe key issues remain with the legislation, and we do not support the bill in its current form. I think that's probably the most notable part there is the in its current form. Not to say they won't eventually support the Protect College Sports Act, but there are revisions that need to happen. So as I understand it, and Ross Dellinger reported that the Senators are in, the way he put it was deal mode. Senators are in, quote, deal mode with the SEC and the Big Ten to get this thing passed. And it's my understanding that LSU representatives have continued communication with the Senators regarding their reservations. And while I have not been able to get hard and fast detail on what those reservations are, the sort of big picture holdup seems to be a couple of things. Notably, a very clear definition of what are benefits that student athletes can get, meaning like NIL, revenue share. Is there pay for play? Other, like they want that very clearly defined as far as what are the benefits that student athletes can receive. And apparently, again, I've told you, like I've not read the whole bill, so I don't, and even if I had, I'm not the guy to answer that question for you. But the other part to me is way more interesting because it sounds like one of the hangups is the fact that maybe some of the verbiage needs to be improved that would satisfy preemption, meaning that it is unequivocal that this legislation will hold up, meaning, okay, you pass this bill, the way it's written, there are no holes in the legislation that would allow a state law to overtake this federal law. So that's the real concern. I think that's the real concern. Now, again, like, I don't know how to draft legislation. I can't answer that question for you, like what the verbiage is, but like these are the things that they're having conversations about. Now, from my perspective, and by the way, LSU's not the only one. Alabama, Auburn, Texas, Texas A&M, their leadership have written similar letters. So it's not like LSU's the only one out here saying it. Plus, the Big Ten and the SEC conference leadership has opposed the legislation. But I think what's important is not to pass something just to pass something. It's to pass something that will be beneficial of all of college sports, that will hold up. And I think that's the real concern. Let's say you pass this Protect College Sports Act, but the verbiage isn't so ironclad therein whereby there's a quarterback at Tennessee, I'm just throwing out of school, and state law ends up overtaking this federal law. I think that's their real concern as well. Now, the other part of it that I look at very clearly is the way that the TV revenue is structured. And effectively, it would prevent, I don't want to say collusion, that's not the right word, but effectively, you would be able to pool TV rights among all the leagues. Well, if you're the SEC and the Big Ten, you don't want that. Because the SEC and the Big Ten have worked really hard to build all of their brands and consolidate those brands in their leagues. Like, we talk about it with TV deals all the time. The TV deal is all, because people ask, well, like, should LSU add Florida State or Clemson to the league? And the answer is no. Because you do a TV deal with ESPN, if you're going to bring another brand into your into your league, it has to elevate the brand so much that you do a new TV deal whereby the new value of that deal, adding those teams, is going to increase the totality of that package so much that everybody gets a bigger share. Does that make sense? You want to grow the pie enough to where everybody gets a bigger piece. What you don't want to do is go from 16 to 18 and adding 2 more teams, everyone gets a smaller piece because now you're dividing the pie 18 ways instead of 16 ways. So you have to grow the pot enough. That's bringing Texas and Oklahoma in. Certainly did that for the SEC. If you go from 16 to 18, it doesn't really stand to reason that those opportunities are out there unless if you could add like Michigan and Ohio State, which isn't going to happen. So, the Big Ten adding UCLA, Southern Cal, Oregon, Washington, that made them bicoastal. That added Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, major metropolitan markets, and it grew that pie big enough to where everybody in the Big Ten got a bigger piece. So it made sense for them to add those schools. What you don't want to do is now, if you're the SEC and the Big Ten, have to do a TV deal whereby Iowa State, Vanderbilt's already in the SEC, Wake Forest, Kansas, where they're getting an equal share as you are, because that's going to water down your share. So certainly the SEC and the Big Ten are looking to protect their brands and the financial windfall those brands will generate through television contracts. So it's complex. I'm not sitting here pretending to have all of the answers, but I think it's important to note that I don't think LSU or the SEC or any of the schools, A&M, Texas, Alabama, Auburn, those schools oppose federal legislation. I think they want to make sure that as it's worded, there are the necessary protections therein. And if the Senators really are in, as Ross Dellinger reported, quote, deal mode, hopefully some of these conversations will continue. As I understand it, actually a lot of those conversations were continuing today with LSU leadership and maybe some of like the congressional delegation from the state. And maybe we can get closer to having a deal done, because what we all want is uniformity, whatever that looks like. We all want rules whereby everyone understands them and abides by them. Because right now you have rules, nobody wants to abide by them. And that's why college sports is in the position that it is, with a lot of chaos and a lot of lawlessness. Because nobody respects the NCAA has rules. Nobody respects the NCAA's ability to enforce those rules. And that's the problem they have. You put federal legislation behind it, now we're having a different conversation. As that develops, we'll certainly continue to talk about it here. And I'm certain that will be a major, major talking point on Monday in Tampa when Greg Sankey takes the podium for his State of the Conference address. No doubt the SEC's feeling on federal legislation is going to be a key point of Sankey's remarks. Okay, we're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. If you're hitting the road for that final summer vacation before the kiddos head back to school and you're back to the grind in the fall, make sure you get by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, they are hiring as well over at Shaw Bills. Saw this one on Facebook. Paid holidays and PTO, benefits like health, dental, vision, life insurance, 401k with a company match, employee discounts, tool and technician programs, the employee purchase program. You get bereavement and emergency leave as well. Great benefits and weekends off. If you're a qualified technician and you are looking to work, Shaw Bills is looking for you. So apply today online at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Just hit the careers tab and you can apply online. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's after further review. We are glad you're rolling along with us here on this this Thursday edition of AFR, presented by LouisianaSports.net. Brad said on the text line, said, Matt, we're talking about Chris Olave, and I sort of made the comp to Derek Carr, which I knew a lot of people weren't going to like. But the point was, you're talking about a Derek Carr, who, of course, I'm no fan of Derek Carr's, but he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think he was an elite level starting quarterback in the NFL. It's a guy that in his career threw for 41,000 yards and 257 touchdowns. Well, Brad said that's a bridge too far with the Carr comp. Olave's 1,000-yard seasons is better than anything Carr did. Oh, really? Derek Carr had he had 4 consecutive 4,000-yard passing seasons and 2 other seasons where he threw for 39.87 and 39.37. He was a breath away from 6 4,000-yard seasons in a 7-year span. Like, he ain't a chump. He didn't suck. He just wasn't a championship caliber quarterback. And that's what I'm saying about Olave. He doesn't suck. I'm not saying he's trash. He's a really good NFL receiver. He's just not a top 10 receiver in the NFL. That's my point about Olave. And will continue to be my point about Olave unless he proves me otherwise. Go do what Jamar Chase did. have a 1,700-yard season, 15 tuds, just take over games, become a dude that tilts the field and everyone game plans against you, and then we'll have that conversation. I just don't think that Olave has that club in his bag. It's AFR.
After further review.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com, agent225.com. We talk about Darren James. We are talking about the most amazing customer service experience and a guy that gets results. Darren has the customer service experience absolutely mastered. I remember, when Darren sold our last home and we bought the home we're in now, I show up at closing. I've known Darren forever, right? Show up at closing, and Darren has a new homeowner's welcome kit with all the types of things you would need when you move into a new home. It's things like that. Things that show the attention to detail, going above and beyond for his clients to get your home sold for more money, faster for more money, to make sure you have the best customer service experience possible. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
So, because we have no Jimmy Ott, Otter's going to Del Mar. See him in a month. Instead of Otter locks, we'll wrap the show with our locks. I have challenged Paul and Muse to come up with our locks, which we'll do at the end of the show. So that's coming up with what we learned to wrap the show. Well, I guess we'll do that for, when's he coming? He's 3 weeks, is that right? 3 weeks? Yeah, okay. So Otter will be gone for 3 weeks. Next week, we're at SEC Media Days, so we won't do it for the 4 days we're at Media Days. But we'll do our locks here to wrap up the show, and we'll see how we fare. Honestly, can't be worse than the Otter some days. Hey! And tomorrow, Friday, one of the top receivers in America is going to announce his college choice, and LSU is going to have a hat on the table. It's an interesting one because this is a guy that LSU seemingly got in on late in the process, but made a lot of headway. So it's Monchin Sales. I'll run through the bio again if you don't remember. So Monchin Sales he's a 5-star, and he's from Indianapolis. So Sales is a 5-star from Indy, 6'5", 201 pounds, ranked the number 8 overall prospect in America, the second best receiver in the country behind Easton Royal. That's in the Rivals industry ranking, right? So when you combine all of the different ranking services, he's the number, again, a top 10 player and the number 2 receiver behind only Easton Royal. So you're talking about a mega prospect, 6'5", 200 pounds. And he took an official visit to LSU, so it was really interesting that LSU sort of shoved for elbow room at the table with Monchin Sales late in the process and got him here for an official visit back on June 16th. Now, he took official visits to 4 schools in over a 2-week span. And so he's deciding among LSU, Bama, Texas, Indiana, and Ohio State. Forgive me, 5 schools. He's from Indianapolis. So it's interesting because if you look at the RPM machine, the RPM predictor, which is the Rivals, I guess they used to call it the crystal ball, whatever. They comp him, by the way, to Brian Thomas, which is really exciting when you think about him just as a collegiate athlete and a prospect. But 84% probability of landing at Indiana and then 5% at Texas. So it feels like LSU is a long shot for Monchin Sales. But I think there's a few scenarios that could play out here. Because primarily what we're keeping an eye on with Monchin Sales is how it might pertain to Easton Royal. Because this LSU staff has actively recruited several of the top receivers in the country in this class. Now, Easton Royal is the one we've talked the most about because he's right down the road in New Orleans at Brother Martin, and we know he's committed to Texas, which he's been committed to Texas since November, right before Lane Kiffin took the LSU job. And now they got in the mix with Monchin Sales, late, another 5-star here in the process. But that's not the only elite level receivers they've gone after, because they really have identified the fact that they're willing to spend on one of the top tier receivers in the class. It kind of makes sense as we've talked about that position in particular. Like, you can get an elite level dynamic receiver who can be an immediate plug and play impact guy at receiver, and you're not going to pay as much for a high school senior as you would for, like, let's say if you were paying for the number one receiver in the country at a high school, or Cam Coleman, who was the number one receiver in the portal that had a reported $3 million ask, and he went from Auburn to Texas. Okay, so what if you get the dynamic receiver for a fraction of that price coming out of high school? I think that's kind of the thought. Remember, they were after Xavier Sabb as well, out of New Jersey, who took a visit here. So they've gone after some elite-level top-tier receivers in the country. So if LSU lands Monchin Sales, that effectively means you're not getting Easton Royal, because you're not going to get both of those guys. If Sales lands at Texas, then I think it's a pretty good indicator that Texas feels like they're going to lose Easton Royal to LSU, and so that's why they're in the mix there for Monchin Sales. They're not going to get them both. I think the more likely scenario of what happens on Friday, it seems, you believe all the industry experts and all that sort of stuff, is that Monchin Sales is going to stay home at Indiana and play for the Hoosiers. He's from Indianapolis. And if that's the case and Sales goes to Indiana, then that means it's basically Texas and LSU for Easton Royal, which is the situation you're kind of in right now. And one of those two schools, Texas or LSU, is going to miss out on an elite-level prospect in this class. Remember, we talked about Xavier Sabb a minute ago. He's already committed to Oregon. So Sabb sticks with Oregon. If Sales picks Indiana, then really it's Royal. It's can you flip Easton Royal, which is the situation you're in right now. But the need to flip Easton Royal is mitigated a bit if you come up aces tomorrow on Friday and you land Monchin Sales. So probably not a great probability of LSU landing Monchin Sales, but one that we need to keep an eye on when that announcement comes down on Friday. He'll be announcing from his school there in Indianapolis, choosing among LSU, Bama, Texas, Indiana, and Ohio State. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by Hancock Whitney. I love telling you about Hancock Whitney Bank because Hancock Whitney Bank is my bank. Quite literally, for as long as I've had a checking account, I've been a Hancock Whitney customer. And Hancock Whitney is proud to be the official bank of the LSU Tigers and of the New Orleans Saints for more than 125 years, committed to the Gulf South, named one of America's best banks by Forbes each of the last 5 years. I'm a client, as I've mentioned. My experience with Hancock Whitney over the years has been downright awesome, from checking account to loan products that they have available as well, and the accessibility. Hancock Whitney has 222 ATMs across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, and Texas. So almost anywhere you go in the SEC footprint, you're going to find a Hancock Whitney near you. HancockWhitney.com/Matt to get started. Use my name. They made a custom URL just for our show. So go to HancockWhitney.com/Matt, M-A-T-T, my name, HancockWhitney.com/Matt to get started. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for hanging out with us here on this Thursday edition of AFR. No Jimmy, as we mentioned. So when we come back, we'll do our locks to wrap up the show, what Muse, Paulie, and I are betting on. And then we'll also get to what we learned to wrap up. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Ross Jackson kicked off the show with us. We talked about Alvin Kamara's, the structure of his new contract, which we now know the Saints are going to save a good chunk of change. They're going to pay him a base of $6 million this year, where that number was 11. So they're going to save about $5 million this year on Alvin Kamara's restructured deal. Thanks to Peter Burns, who was with us, joined us from Oxford, Mississippi, where he was doing a feature on Trinidad Chambliss. Will Vandervoort covers Clemson for Clemson Insider up at ACC Media Days. We had a great show. So if you missed anything, catch it on demand. AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. Okay, final break of the show. We'll wrap up with our locks and what we learned next.
AFR.
I mentioned we have Drew's birthday extravaganza this weekend, so you better believe part of our preparation was getting over to Clegg's Nursery. Remember, if you're looking for flowers or plants or trees or shrubs or anything for your garden, or you need the stuff to keep the pests away, Clegg's has all of it. If you want the Aeon mosquito barrier, which I talk about all the time, super easy, right around $30. It's 2 tubes about the size of a track baton, got granules in it. Fill it up with water, put the top on, shake it, hang it on your property line, boom. You're done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's incredible how it works. Give it a try. You can find it at Clegg's Nursery. But there's snake away and ant killer and wasp spray and things like floodlights and contractor garbage bags. I tell you all the time, just bypass the big box store and go shop our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. You can always get their discount ads on social media, so follow along on Facebook. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery. Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. Give them a buzz. I'm going to give you the phone number here, or if you'd prefer, you can start online. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net for Insurance Network of Louisiana. Y'all, this process couldn't be easier. It's super simple. Like, you're going to call Insurance Network of Louisiana, you talk to Adam or Jay or someone at the office, and then they're going to take your insurance. They're going to go shop for you for free dozens of the top-rated companies. And all these other companies will bid basically what rate they can give you, what coverage, what rate, and see if they can get you better coverage for less money. If not, great. You got great coverage. Stick with it. Home, auto, business insurance, let them shop. 293-0450.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Always remind you about LouisianaSports.net and get on over. You can read everything always for free over at LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's all there. Saints, Tigers, SEC. Check it out at LouisianaSports.net. LouisianaSports.net. All right. No otter locks as Jimmy's in Delmar. Betting on the ponies. Probably having a nice Chablis. Enjoying some coq au vin where the surf meets the turf. What do you think our guy's doing right now? What do you think our guy's doing right now?
No, man, I think you nailed it. I think that's it. Well, it's a little early for dinner there. I mean, we're what, 4 o'clock right there now?
Yeah. Or, well, maybe a little some heavy hors d'oeuvres maybe.
Yeah, a little charcuterie board maybe for the otter.
Our guy does love a charcuterie.
I mean, who doesn't, dude? They're great. You could have that. Yeah, maybe a glass of wine, pre-dinner glass of wine for the otter.
A little Chablis.
Little Chablis. There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, our guy. And you want to go, like, if you're a foodie, go dine with the otter. I'm gonna tell you. There's a benefit to spending 30 years in radio and doing all those shows at restaurants.
I was just about to say.
And the guy knows his way around a restaurant, around a kitchen, around a grill. He's picked up a thing or two.
Yeah.
Although there was one time I was listening as Jimmy was reading off the menu, and he talked about I think he said quinoa, and I went, hey, I texted him. I said, hey, Otter, that's quinoa, bro. Got him. Quinoa is a great substitute for rice. You want to go a little healthier?
Okay.
Hold the rice. Quinoa. Good substitute.
It's fun to say, too.
You had quinoa?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have not.
It's a healthy thing. You wouldn't understand. You like Dino Nugs and pizza.
I enjoy those things. I also
waffles, Dino Nugs, and pizza. That's Muse's diet.
I also eat other things.
Like Lucky Charms.
No, I hate Lucky Charms. Didn't like them.
Captain Crunch.
Not a big cap. No.
Raisin Bran.
No, don't like that either.
That's way too healthy for you.
I like raisins, but I don't like Raisin Bran.
We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. We're going to get to our locks. You have your locks?
I have a lock, yeah.
All right. Paulie, you got a lock?
Working on it.
There's like no sports tonight at all.
Oh, I got us. I got a winner.
Oh, Lord. All right.
WilliamsonEye.com. Eye care, eyewear, eye surgery for the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020 to set up that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Tell you, speaking of the Otter, different stages of life, but we both had the same experience. Me, it was LASIK. For him, it was custom lens replacement. And still, 8 years after surgery for me, I don't know how many years post-op Jimmy is, but dude used to have the readers on the end of his nose, using a flashlight on his phone to read a menu. Not anymore. And I mean, I can see across the room without contacts or glasses. Wake up in the morning and just see. It's amazing. Take that first step. Schedule that consultation with the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, Muse, what's your lock?
All right, we're going to go to the MLB baseball game that's in progress right now. Mets are leading the Phillies 1-0, but we're not going to let that deter us. We're going to hop on the Phillies live minus 108. The Mets stink.
Money line?
Money line. The Mets
right.
stink. Aaron Nola's on the bump. Let's go.
All right, Philly, money line minus 108. Paulie?
I'm going to go Kyle Schwarber plus 265 to hit a home run.
Okay.
Scone, what's your lock?
Money line parlay.
Oh, Lord.
Give me the Warriors,
Summer League.
the Atlanta Dream,
Oh.
and the Indiana Fever. 3-team money line parlay coming back at plus $1.18. Take it to the bank. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
And when you go to the bank, go to First South Farm Credit. Now, they're not a bank per se. How about that? Professional radio guy. But if you know what I can do, Muse? I can take all my winnings from this money line parlay, Warriors, Atlanta Dream, and Indiana Fever, 3-leg money line parlay. I'm going to take my winnings, and I'm going to First South Farm Credit to use that down payment to buy me some land. That's what I'm going to do. Build my family's dream home in Tangipahoa or St. Francisville. Or maybe what I'll do, because look, I mean, they got branches in Mississippi, Alabama, Texas. Maybe I want to go move down to 30A, build me a beautiful home on a big old tract of land out there. Can do it. First South Farm Credit can help. You're thinking of buying land, we're having some fun. But seriously, if you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com. FirstSouthland.com.